I'm not even supposed to be recording today, my friends, but we are going to start today's episode and then I'll change shirts. It'll be a different day when I record the rest of the episode. We are in the Cup semifinal against RB Salzburg, who, by the way, we had to play again and they also waxed us 4-0. So I've changed the tactic. We've gone Gegenpressing 4-2-4 because honestly, I looked at this game as let's get the substitutes that aren't getting time in the reserves out onto the pitch so that we can try and stay in the top four in the rest of the split of the championship group. But instead, we've somehow taken them to penalties 1-1. We went down early and came back after some substitutions and have somehow kept it as a draw all the way through extra time. So we're all really bad at penalties, but here we go. At least Mika is on the pitch and he's focused with his 8 penalty taking. He came on as a sub. Oh, there's a team talk. Good luck out there. We're going to need it. The assistant does not believe in our chances. I'm going to say, I'm so proud of your efforts. Keep going. Okay, so let's look. Motivated. Okay, that's the 8th penalty taker. Yeah, that's our goalkeeper. Motivated, composed, motivated, wants to make a difference, focused. I have no idea what you're supposed to pick here. I guess we'll go with relax, pick your spot, and don't change your mind. Because that's really, in my opinion, that's what you should do in penalties. Where people get messed up is they start doing mind games. Oh, I'm going to go left, then I'm going to right. It's like, just pick a spot, smack it hard, put it in. Yeah. No reaction. This is going to be a long episode. I'm so sorry. Moiskeen steps up. Oh, I thought he skied it. Shoot. Should we change the angle? Or, oh, it's just going to change the angle when it's interesting. Okay. Mika. Calm as you like. All right. I put him first. He's technically our second best taker, I guess, but focused. It's like he's the leading striker on the squad. Deviv also scores. Okay. I'm anticipating this. Maybe you never even see this because we end up losing on penalties, but I thought, you know what? There's a chance we might as well hit record. Interrupt down the middle, I think is what that was. Smacks it hard. Okay. Oh, you're saying there's a chance. Hugo, he didn't even think about it. He didn't give the keeper a chance. Okay, fair. Wilfred Ndidi with all of his experience. All right, slots at home. That's why I picked him. You go he's 32 years old, played in the Premier League forever for Leicester. Let's have him take one. And then after that, it's kind of like a crapshoot for us. Oh, keeper. Our keepers have been very poor in this run. Maybe I'll remember to show that to you. But our starter got hurt, and then we played the backup one game, and he had a 6.0. Oh, that was terrible, Schwarz. Aaron Sky Schwarz. Terrible. Terrible. Well, that's it. Oh, dearie me. It's got the slow, the keeper walking over. This is going in, folks. This is going in. I hope it doesn't. It'll be interesting if it doesn't. But it does. Well, that was worth showing you. Of course, that's going to have a negative impact on Aaron Sky Schwartz. So, fantastic. He has a 6 on penalty taking. The entire squad is quite poor at it. So, kind of is what it is. My friends, let's not bury the lead here. We finished second somehow. And it was amazing. Let me show you how we pulled it off. So after the disappointing penalty loss, I kind of went, maybe installing Tiki Taka in the middle of the season without a full preseason was not the right idea. This team has good work rate and natural fitness. I can't get us to pass the ball effectively. We're just going to run at people because, again, our passing is all right, but maybe at this level, some of those attributes where I'm going it's pretty good is actually the kind of average for this league. I'm not too sure. So we went 4-2-4 Gegenpressing because that made the most sense. Mustafa is a really good pressing forward, and at least that's his best role, I should say. And it allows us to kind of utilize our 2 really good strikers to get some magic done. It did diminish Horvat's involvement a little bit, but he can also play on the wings, so it wasn't too bad. And we come out against Austria Vienna in the next game after the penalty loss in the Cup and smash them 5-0. Mustafa getting a brace, 43rd minute penalty, 48th minute, so right around halftime. But he also scored a goal in the 44th minute. So we score a penalty in the 43rd minute, and Mika scores in the 44th minute. We ran rampant all over them. As you can see here, they only created one clear-cut chance. Fair. We created 4 on a 3-2-3 XG, and I went, okay, the lads like to run. You can see the green ratings down here. We were all over them. We followed that up against SK Rapid, which is a rival of ours. With it, again, I was like, well, this is working. We're going to leave the 4-2-4 in place and see how it goes. And went right back to it, scored in the 3rd minute, the 19th minute, 64th, and 69th minute. Again, creating 4 clear-cut chances on a 3.0 XG. We don't give up a single clear-cut chance from them. Massive 2 victories back-to-back in the championship group. I don't know if you can see that up there. That boosted us up to 3rd at that point, and we then proceed to somehow draw against Hartberg, which I believe are in 6th place. It's like the team that's like, they just barely stuck into the championship group. Again, you can see down here with the tactics screen, we did again the 4-2-4. We score in the 45th minute. But it's like, oh, wait a minute. What? This was working against the really like much higher in the table clubs, and against this team, we just literally couldn't get it done. Very disappointing draw from that side of things. But we stuck with it because I didn't think switching back to Tiki Taka would make a lot of sense. So we went right back to the 4-2-4, and it was a disaster against Salzburg. You might go, oh, it's a 1-0 loss. It's not really a disaster. It was a disaster in that they're top of the table, but mostly that we lost Mustafa in the 26th minute and Intrup, who's like the backup striker who hasn't really played a lot, in the 58th minute. Tons of yellow cards on both sides, to be fair. Neither side creates a clear-cut chance, and their goal is one of those just demoralizing. It's a throw-in, too easy. He chips it into the back post, heads it home. Not a clear-cut chance. Could the keeper have done better? Maybe, but like, could we have defended the cross and the throw-in a little bit better? Probably. So it was one of those things like it felt like we were really, really close. We're on a good run, and then like it just fell apart. Look at their pass map. See how like squished down they were? I'm assuming that's to do with us gegenpressing them. So it's like it was almost working, but we end up getting a bunch of injuries, and we still lose to Salzburg. And those injuries were very bad for us because Mustafa is out with pulled knee ligaments for 2 weeks, and Intrup is out with a hammy strain also for 2 weeks. So we really don't have the ability to play a 4-2-4 gegenpressing anymore because we don't have enough strikers of good quality. And that loss also dropped us to 3rd, but we come back to draw, kind of disappointed, although Altak was moving up the table. They're now in 3rd. We go back to the 4-2-3-1 Tiki Taka because I felt like I didn't really have an option. Actually, I'm not sure if it was Tiki Taka or if we left it on gegenpressing, but it wasn't great, to be fair. So we get they score in the 2nd minute, then we get an own goal in the 16th minute. They score in the 30th minute. Diambu scores in the 61st minute, but you can see here our ratings for our strike force here, our attacking players, are all really poor except for Oluwoyan on the left wing. We did outshoot them 13-7 and 6 on target to 3 on target, but they create the only clear-cut chance of the game, and it was kind of one of those like, it just felt like it's falling apart. But in the last game of the season against Austria Vienna, again, kind of a rivalry game, we get a goal in the 49th minute. Playing that 4-2-3-1, we create 2 clear-cut chances, and this is the goal that solidifies us in 2nd. Horvat pings it in from the corner. Sotiris collects it. Oluwayan takes, I think, kind of a heavy touch, and then I couldn't tell if he slotted it through the keeper's legs or he did the job. Altak lost against Salzburg in their last game, so it was one of those things where it probably would have been fine, but we didn't know that going in. The games all started at the same time, so we had to do the business. And riddle me this. This is before our game with Austria Vienna. The assistant recommends we just change everything. And I guess that's because it's thinking that Salzburg is going to beat the 3rd place team. But if we check the competition screen here, we need to win. We are the 3rd place team. Sorry, Altak ends up in 3rd, but like, we need to win this game. And the assistant's like, yeah, take your starting right back out. Like, some of these guys, Frank Strauss, as an example, is a youth prospect. And I go like, what? What are you on, man? Like, all of these players, again, Conte is a youth prospect. We have not secured 2nd place. I would like an explanation. Does anybody understand why that would be? Because to me, it almost comes across as a hint of like Salzburg is going to beat Altak and you're going to win. But that doesn't, like, surely the game doesn't work like that. We had to win that game. Why would you rotate out? The previous game was 5 days prior. It wasn't like the day before. So why would you rotate out your starting striker, your starting left winger, your starting number 10, your starting right winger, your starting left midfielder, your starting right midfielder, who's replaced by, to be fair, a pretty good ball-winning midfielder, who's also your starting center back. Bring in Halstenberg, who is like your fifth string center back. None of that makes sense to me. Help me understand. A few days later, our scouts bring this player to me. I think we've scouted him a couple times. I just hadn't noticed this. Michael Novotny, who is Czechia, if you prefer. Tallest player I think I've ever seen in Football Manager, although I feel like I may have verbalized that before in the past. Something in my brain is telling me that. 6'8", 16 jumping reach, 9 heading. My man, you are the next Peter Crouch, except you cannot use your head to score goals. Why? Really good finishing, though, to be fair. Like, I'm really tempted just because he's so tall. Like, surely, like, even just playing him as a target forward where he brings the ball down and doesn't use his head to, like, try and score, but, like, brings it down because he's a beast of a human being, 198 pounds, looks really, really good. We'll have to see if we can fit him into the squad. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, my friends, is I am very disappointed, and I'm curious if this is just me not doing something correctly. Alex Murphy is on loan. As you can see, his value is listed at 850 grand because we have a clause in our loan with an optional future fee. I think it's like 850 plus 200 or something like that over time. But he signs a new contract out from underneath our noses, and I kind of go like, wouldn't we be aware of that? That they were offering him a new contract? Maybe not. Maybe it's all done in secret. But he gets a raise at FC Seoul. They extend his contract. And then it turns around, he isn't then interested in like coming to us because he's just signed a contract. So our opportunity, because I was pretty convinced we were going to activate that because finding left backs is extraordinarily hard. He's versatile. He can also play as a center back if you need him to. But then he doesn't even want to be reloaned. Like even the FC Seoul is like, yeah, we might consider reloaning him. Did I do something wrong here? Maybe, like, should he have been on my short list even though he's at the club and surely we would be monitoring this? I feel like FC Seoul have like done one on us because of this. And so Alex is not going to be part of the squad next year, which means we now have an enormous gap at left back. And that's where we're going to leave it, my friends. I've got a whole slew of transfers to show you because I'm recording this. I've already played ahead to where I've already done the transfer window. So I'm going to bring you back next time. We're going to go through all of the transfers. And in fact, it's not even all of them because our Champions League run starts early and what's probably going to end up being Champions League going to Europa League and so on. But that starts in the middle of July. So I was thinking we had, like the transfer window goes until August or something like that. Nope, we're going to hit right into it. So most of the transfers are done by the time we come back for the next episode. But if you've enjoyed this, my friends, hit that like button. If you understand if I should have done something different on Alex Murphy, leave a comment. Or if you think we should sign the next Peter Crouch, but that can't head but can finish. So not sure what to do there. We'll see you then. I think I may have slightly buried the lead there. We have 12 million in transfer budget to spend. And yes, we are in the Champions League spots because we finished second. So that's exciting.